online lesson. Hello there, welcome to this free online lesson here on YouTube and Google+. It's good to be here tonight with you. My name is Matt Perland. I'm from the website englishbanana.com, and tonight we're going to have a vocabulary lesson. This is really aimed at elementary level students. Okay, and so if you're watching this live, please feel free to join in. Type your comments in the box, and if you're watching after the event, then again, please feel free to join in with us, add your comments on YouTube, and get in touch if you want to find out more about my lessons. englishbanana.com is a free resource website. We've got thousands of pages of free resources for English teachers. Everything is photocopyable, you can print it out, and you can even sell our materials and make a profit. We don't take any commission. We've got a free copying license. So let's have a look at our lesson tonight. We're going to study vocabulary words. I've chosen some words on the topic of shopping, so hopefully they're not too difficult, and they're words that you know, and maybe some new words as well. I'm going to do this lesson using screen share, so you can see the file, PDF file, on my computer, and hopefully you will still hear me as I speak. So let's have a look at our words here. Okay, so we've got vocabulary words on the topic of shopping. This comes from the book Talk a Lot Elementary Book 1, which you can download from englishbanana.com. Thousands of teachers have used this book with their students to teach English. If I was teaching in the classroom now, I would have all these words cut up on little cards, put on the table so that students can move them around, put them into groups, and so on. Let's have a look at the words. The most important is to think about, do we understand the words? Are there any new words? So have a look at the words. Think about which words you know and which words are new words. If you've got a dictionary handy, that would be really good. Maybe use an online dictionary, or use your phone, or a real book dictionary if you want. Let's have a look at the words then. I'm going to read each word or phrase, and please read after me. So copy what I say, listen to the pronunciation, and repeat. Market, market. Till, till. Sale, sale. Weigh in, weigh in. Promotion, promotion. Check out assistant, check out assistant. Scales, trolley. Change, change. Restaurant, check out. Express lane. Queue, manager. Supermarket, pence, shelf, bag, cash point, receipt, lift, shopping centre, pounds, way out. Okay, good. So you listened and you repeated the words. Don't forget this will be recorded and you can watch it again on YouTube. Then you'll be able to pause the video and listen and repeat if you didn't catch maybe one of the words or something like that. In English words, the most important syllable is the stressed syllable. We focus on the stressed syllable. For example, in the word trolley, the first syllable is stressed. Trolley. We don't say trolley, but trolley. And we don't have equal stress where each syllable is the same, like trolley, trolley. No, the stress is on the first syllable, trolley. I know it's stressed because the second syllable is a suffix, an ending. EY is a common ending in English, so it must be the first syllable that's stressed. So we find the stressed syllable in each word, and then we think about what is the vowel sound in this stressed syllable. That's the most important sound in the word. Trolley, tro, o. O is the stressed vowel sound here. It's very short and sharp vowel sound, o. For example, if you know the word hot, not, pot, then you know the sound o. It's the sound in this word, trolley, and this is a short vowel sound, a short vowel sound. We have, in English, we have short vowel sounds and long vowel sounds. In long vowel sounds, we include diphthongs, which are double sounds, changing sounds. So let's have a look at some more of the words and think about the stressed vowel sound. Restaurant. This word has two syllables, restaurant. Which one is stressed? Restaurant. So the first syllable is stressed. A is stressed. It has accent, or we say it's stressed sound, stressed vowel sound. Is it short or long? A. Is it short or long? A. So it's very short. What about other words in this group which have the same sound? A. Can you see any word which has a stressed sound? Shelf. This one. Shelf. It's got the same vowel sound as in restaurant. Checkout. It's a sound. Checkout assistant. Hence. Again a. Express lane. So it's good to know, first of all, what is the stressed syllable in the word, because then we will pronounce correctly. And then what is the stressed vowel sound in this syllable? If we have the wrong stress, we can be misunderstood. People won't understand us. Or it will be much harder for them to understand. For example, if I say restaurant, restaurant, or even restaurant, restaurant, it's much harder to understand. Restaurant, the vowel sound is a, short. So we associate this vowel sound with this word in our brain. And we're waiting for this, we expect it. What about words which have a long stressed vowel sound, but not trolley or checkout, but a long vowel sound? For example, Q. Q is a long vowel sound, isn't it? Ooh. It's long. The spelling is U-E, U-E. Very unusual spelling in English. And very annoying as well. But the sound is oo. For example, in the word you and to and new. Q. Must be long vowel sound. We associate the sound oo with the word Q. Okay, let's look for another word with a long vowel sound. Can you think of a word with a long vowel sound? Scales. Scales. Scales has a long vowel sound a long A sound. Scales. Market. Market has a long vowel sound. I know it's long because I see AR together in the spelling of this vowel sound. In the first syllable, market. I know that AR spelling usually makes the sound R, long vowel sound. It's long, it's not a diphthong, it doesn't change, but it's a long vowel sound. Okay, any more? Long vowel sounds. Receipt. Receipt. So this word has a stress on the second syllable. Usually two-syllable nouns have stress on the first syllable, and the second is probably a suffix. But in this case, it's an exception, and the stress is on the second syllable. Receipt. Receipt. I need a receipt, please. E sound, long E sound, and we can notice a digraph. EI is a digraph. Two letters together make a digraph. They make one sound. And they make E sound. So we have to associate the spelling EI with a long E sound. Receipt. Receipt. And the first syllable, it's really simply R. And there isn't really a vowel sound in this syllable, but we call it the schwa sound. And the schwa sound is a very weak sound in English, but very common. It's in many, many words, but it's in the weak syllable, which is not stressed. So receipt, receipt. We almost don't hear even any schwa sound. And we certainly don't say re, pronouncing because it's not the stressed syllable. Last week in my lesson on YouTube, we looked at spelling and sounds, and we talked about 5 rules for finding spelling and sound. For example, let's have a look at the word till. If I look at the word till, I know it's a short vowel sound because it's got one vowel letter. And that's it, one vowel letter on its own, plus consonant letters. Till. It must be short. What other words can you see that are like that? They must be short sound, short vowel sound, because of one vowel letter. Can you see any more examples? Maybe bag. Bag is pronounced like that. It's not long, because it's one vowel letter. One vowel letter usually, most of the time, makes a short vowel sound. Lift, we've got lift, shelf, shelf, any more? Pence. And sometimes we see exceptions. One exception here. Can you find it? The exception to this rule? Last week we talked about 75% of words matching these rules. But there are some exceptions. What about change? It's one vowel letter. There are two consonants after it, but it's still long. Change. We have to learn this as an exception. Just learn it and remember that it's long, doesn't fit our rule. Yeah. Another rule we've got in spelling and sounds in English is when we've got vowel, consonant, vowel, and it makes a long vowel sound, and the vowel says its alphabet name. For example, in this word sail, we've got vowel, consonant, vowel, and A is long. And A sounds like in the alphabet A, sail. Can you see any more words like that in this group? Just below it we've got the same, scales. A is long, it sounds like its alphabet name because it's vowel, consonant, vowel. I can see another example here, promotion. O-T-I, vowel, consonant, vowel. O is long, O says its alphabet name. Yeah. Okay, we're not going to go through all of them, but it just helps to make the point. Here we can see an exception. We've got vowel, consonant, vowel, but it's short, manager. We haven't got double N spelling, but it's an exception. We need to learn that, like change, manager. Other rules, of course, we've got with R, for example, market, vowel letter plus R makes a long vowel sound. Digraph, like receipt, we looked at that already. Sometimes we see other letters like G, H, and Y, and W. For example, here in weigh in, but we know that AY spelling usually makes the sound A, which is long. The same sound which is in sail, but different spelling. So how confusing? How confusing? Very confusing. It's not easy, but it's good to learn some of these rules and to learn shortcuts, really. Look for shortcuts. Okay, so how can we help this situation? Spelling and sounds are so different. You know, sail is different from way in. Way has totally different spelling from sail. So we need a phonetic alphabet or phonemic alphabet to help us, and we've got that. There are different ones available. I use Clear Alphabet. And you can download Clear Alphabet Dictionary from my website, from englishbanana.com. I find it helps students to understand the difference between spelling and sound. For example, in Clear Alphabet, I would write sail like this. Sail. So EI in Clear Alphabet makes the sound A. Every time, it's always A. Sail, and there's a capital S to show it's a stressed syllable. And weigh in as well, we use the same spelling in clear alphabet. Weigh in, weigh in. Yeah, so you can see that EI represents the sound A in both words. And in clear alphabet you can see what the sounds look like. Of course you can use other phonemic alphabets if you want. Let's have a look at another word. For example, Q. We looked at Q. In clear alphabet would be spelled like this: capital letter K, Y, double O. In clear alphabet, U sound is always represented by OO together, Q. And I think this is a bit easier to understand than the real spelling. What do you think? Some other phonetic alphabets use strange symbols and different symbols that we can't or we don't know how to use online or in emails and so on. But in clear alphabet we're using the normal letters of the alphabet. Yeah. Okay. Good. And also we can see the features of the spelling and the sounds. So let's take the word receipt, for example. The first syllable will just be spelled like R, receipt, receipt. So in the real spelling we've got quite complicated things here. We've got the digraph EI. We've got the first letter E, which is not pronounced. We've got P, which is not pronounced. Why is that there? We don't know, but it's there. We have to learn it. But in clear alphabet, you can see very clearly the first syllable is weak, R. R. Receipt. Receipt. Can I have a receipt, please? Yeah. So this is supposed to simplify things, and then of course EE together is always the long E sound. Okay, let's have a look at some of the words here. We talked about suffixes, which are word endings. We know that in English they're not usually stressed. There are a few suffixes which are stressed. Okay, good for them. But usually they're not. So we looked at the word trolley and we said it has a suffix, EY suffix, trolley, trolley. So we don't pronounce EY as a long vowel sound because it's not stressed. Rather it's a short vowel sound, E, short E sound. Can you see any other words which have a suffix? Any other words with a suffix? What about this word? Promotion. Promotion has got a suffix. TION is a very common suffix in English and sometimes has SION, and this is pronounced with a schwa sound, shun, shun, and we always stress before shun. So if you find a word which has this suffix, you know straight away where to stress, just before the shun, the syllable before shun. Okay, so that's really useful to know, I think. What else have we got? Any other words with the suffix? Of course, if it's one syllable, then it hasn't got a suffix. That's logical. What about shopping? Shopping. Shopping? No. Shopping. Shopping has a suffix, ing suffix. Ing is a very common suffix in English. So if you've got a word with two syllables and the suffix is ing, then you know where to stress it. Yeah, certainly not on the suffix. Center has a suffix, so two-syllable words with the suffix are nice and easy. We know where the stress is. Of course, if you get the wrong stress, then you pronounce the wrong sound, the wrong vowel sound, and then it all goes wrong. And the person listening will ask you, sorry, what did you say? Another good rule to learn about stress is look for compound nouns, that is, nouns which are together, two nouns together in one word. Check out is one example. Check out. These are always stressed on the first syllable. And it makes a difference if you say check out or check out. When I go to the supermarket, I choose some items and then I go to the checkout. And it must be to the checkout, not the checkout, because if you're pronouncing stress on ow sound, I don't associate this sound with the word checkout. So I'm lost. I have to work really hard and just think, you know, what did you say? And that's when the person maybe will ask you again, can you repeat it? So check out. Yeah. Supermarket is compound noun, isn't it? Supermarket. Su is stressed. And in the word super we've got a suffix, er suffix. So we know this is going to be schwa sound because er suffix is always schwa sound, isn't it? Supermarket. And will sound strange if you say supermarket, supermarket, or without any stress, supermarket, supermarket. I have a problem with Polish students because they want to pronounce every letter in English like it is in Polish, but they can't, so they try to pronounce ER and they roll the R. Super. You know, it's very hard for me to do that, but they do it, they manage quite well. But they shouldn't and they mustn't. Yeah. Okay, good. So we've looked at the words, we've looked at the pronunciation, the sounds, spelling and sounds, the stress. We've looked at phonetic or phonemic spelling with clear alphabet. Have we thought about connected speech? Connected speech. We have in a way because we've got the phonetic spelling of weigh in, weigh in. In English, we'd prefer to have syllables which go from vowel sound to consonant, V to C, vowel to consonant. And we don't finish syllables and words, but they continue on into the next syllable. For example, I don't say weigh in, weigh in. Of course, students do say this, and it's one thing which makes them sound less like they should. But in fact, I carry over the sound, the y sound, into the next syllable, weigh in. Weigh in. Let's have a look at the word express lane. Excuse me. Express lane. Express lane. Can you hear what I'm doing? with the two words, how they're going together. I'm not pronouncing express lane, but they're joined together. They're joined together with the S. So I'm moving forward S and joining it to the beginning of the next syllable. This makes it easier to pronounce, and I do it naturally without thinking. Native speakers will do this naturally without thinking. So we can see the phonetic spelling here, which is not stressed, expre, which is stressed, which has got the capital letter, express lane. And when I speed it up into normal speed, you can't tell, but it sounds like English. It's one of the features of English that we use connected speech. You can't tell, but it sounds to you like normal English. And this is because of we want to have a VC connection. We need a vowel consonant connection between the syllables. As you can see now, in this phrase, is vowel, k is consonant. So we've got VC here, VC connection, and in the next connection as well, we've got VC. And this is true through all of English. And there are friendly syllables as well, friendly consonant sounds, which we know. And this is explained in more detail in my book, Talk a Lot, Foundation course, which you can download again from englishbanana.com. So I have to tell you about that, but they're free books to download. There's nothing to pay. The same, in other words, cash point. If you try to say the two words separately, individually, cash point, I went to the cash point, then it won't sound like English. It won't sound like English because it's without connected speech. Cash point. Ka, it's one syllable, stressed one. Point, it's the second. Point. Sounds funny, doesn't it? But that's how it is. Way out, it's the same situation. So, a little bit about connected speech. We can look at that another time as well. What about verbs? What about verbs? Collocations. Can you think of any verbs that we can use with these nouns? So these are all nouns. They're all content words. Manager. What verbs can we use? What does a manager do? Well, manages. Think of some verbs which we can use with this word, manager. Maybe order. Order some new stock. Order some products. He can pay his staff. Hire staff. What else? Think of what a manager does work. Maybe study. A lot of managers have to stay in education and keep studying with their company. Think of verbs that collocate, which go nicely together. What do scales do? Weigh. Show. What about a restaurant? Can you think of a verb that goes before this word? Maybe go to the restaurant. Eat at a restaurant. Dine in a restaurant. And then if we're adding verbs, we could add other words as well which go together. For example, what about adjectives? Adjectives go before nouns, don't they? So can we make a phrase? We've got a verb plus adjective plus restaurant. And think of a subject as well. For example, I, you, he, she, Bob, my friend, any subject. So let's think of a sentence then. We've got subject, verb, adjective, and restaurant, which is noun. So let's have a think about it. I'm going to open up the document here. Okay, so maybe let's take the subject I. Okay, so I'm changing over documents now. Let's say we've got the subject I. Okay, so let's say we've got the verb go, and adjective for restaurant, maybe nice, and restaurant. So this is a nice sentence, but let's think about the time here. What tense is it first? I go to a nice restaurant. I go to a nice restaurant. What tense is it? I go. I go, so present simple. So what time is it in present simple? If we're using present simple time. Is it now? Is it past? Future? Of course, everybody will say present, but what does it mean present? That's now, at the moment. I go to a nice restaurant now. No, this is going to be an error, isn't it? So present simple time, it's outside of all of the other times. It's different from the other times. Present simple time is on its own. It's called general time or regular time. So we could use a phrase like, for example, every day. But is it a good sentence now? It's correct, but is it a good? Does it make sense really? Not many people go to nice restaurants every day. So let's change this. We could use a different phrase. Once a month. So I go to a nice restaurant once a month. Even once a month is quite often. So then you're lucky if you do. So let's read the sentence together. Listen and repeat with me. I go to a nice restaurant once a month. Good, okay. So what will be the question? If I've got the question word where, then what will be the question here? Where. So we need in present simple auxiliary verbs to make questions and negatives. Where do, we've got do, does in present simple. So where do you, the subject, and then verb. Where do you go once a month? And the answer, tell me the short answer. To a nice restaurant, exactly. Good. So we can make a statement, then a question, and then a short answer. What about the different question? Not where, but another question, information question. Maybe how often? How often? So what will be the question then with how often? How often do, so after the question word we need auxiliary verb. How often do, then subject, how often do you, verb, go. How often do you go to a nice restaurant? And answer, short answer, once a month. Exactly, very good. So you could practice this kind of question and answer with your friend, with another student, for example, with your family or parents. Somebody makes a statement, choose a tense. We made the collocation just from the word restaurant. We put adjective, we had a verb first, an adjective, subject. You know, what would happen if we change the subject? Not I, but this person, Penny. This is a girl or a woman. So is it a good sentence now? No, but it's something which I hear very often. Third person and then infinitive. It's not very nice. So how can we make this correct? Not go. I go, you go. And she goes. Penny goes to a nice restaurant once a month. So what will be the question then? Think of the question and answer. Question and short answer. Where does, put third person, where does Penny go once a month? To a nice restaurant. Super. Okay, and the next one. How often? Again, we need does. It's do, does in present simple. I do, you do. But third person, he, she, it does. How often does Penny go to a nice restaurant? Once a month. Exactly. Super. I just want to change this sentence into past simple now. And then we're going to finish after that, I think. So can you change this sentence into past simple? This is time which is finished time in the past. For example, yesterday, last month, last week, ago. Finished time. Time which is not connected to now. We can't go back to this time, for example. So what is the form? We need past tense form of the verb go, don't we, to make this correct? Penny. So tell me what we need. Not Penny goes. Went to a nice restaurant. So this stays the same. Once a month. Is it alright? No. Once a month it's regular time. Present simple time. So it can't be once a month. So think about the time in past simple we talked about yesterday, last week, last month, ago. Well, let's maybe use ago, 2 weeks ago. So tell me this sentence after me. Penny went to a nice restaurant 2 weeks ago. And it's good because now the verb form went, it matches the time. The time we know it's past simple time, and we're using went, which is past tense form, which we use in past simple. If the time and the verb form don't match, if they don't match, then we could have a problem. Well, we will have a problem. For example, Penny going to a nice restaurant 2 weeks ago. No, it doesn't match. Penny goes 2 weeks ago. No, it doesn't match. So it has to match. Goes, we know it's present simple. It matches the time, regular time. Yeah. So what will be the questions in past simple? Think about auxiliary verb. We need to use a different auxiliary verb, not do, does. Penny went to a nice restaurant 2 weeks ago. Where? Again, we need auxiliary verb after the question word. Where did? Did is auxiliary verb in past simple. Where did Penny went? No, not went. So we need infinitive in past simple as well, don't we? To make the question a negative, we need infinitive. So where did Penny go 2 weeks ago? Answer: to a nice restaurant. Super! It's the same answer as in the first question, really. Well, it is. How often, or after question word, we need auxiliary verb? Usually. How often? Do? Does? No. Do, does, it's present simple time. We have to connect these auxiliary verbs with the tenses. Did. How often did Penny went? No, not went. My goodness. We need infinitive in past simple for question and negative. How often did Penny go to a nice restaurant? Well, we don't know this answer. But what will be the question for this sentence, which is a better question? We can use how often did Penny go. For example, in a fixed time, when she was on holiday last year, how often did she go to a nice restaurant? Maybe every night. But in this sentence, we need different question word. And we can say, what do you think? Not where or how often. Another what question? When? Okay, so after when, after question word, auxiliary verb. When did, then subject. Penny is a subject. When did Penny go? Good. When did Penny go to a nice restaurant? 2 weeks ago is the short answer. And we usually will use a short answer, not say, Penny went to a nice restaurant 2 weeks ago. Just 2 weeks ago is enough. You know, we're asking for information, and it's enough to give this short answer. Okay, so we've looked at two tenses tonight. We've looked at present simple with do, does, and the time is regular time. We looked at past simple with did and plus infinitive. We need infinitive for question and negative. And the time here was past time, finished time in the past, ago. If I say ago, I think past simple. Or past continuous if it's a long action. Okay, so I'm back on the screen. Anyway, we're going to have to finish there, I think. It's good to see you today. We've looked at a lot of things in vocabulary. We've looked at pronunciation, spelling and sound, word stress. We've looked at a phonetic alphabet, clear alphabet spelling, and even connected speech. We've looked at things like suffixes as well, and using the language, collocation, making a sentence, a simple sentence, yes, with present simple, past simple, and question forms. We didn't look at negative forms, but maybe we'll do it next time. So that's all for me for tonight. Thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you've been able to learn with me, learn along, play along with me in this video. It's not just a lecture. And if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to type them in the chat box. Type them in the chat on YouTube or Google+. And I'll get back to you. If you want to learn with me online, then I also teach paid lessons, one-to-one lessons on Skype. So you can, again, ask me about that if you're interested. I teach all levels from beginners right through to advanced. This lesson was for elementary level. I hope it was not difficult for elementary level, and maybe it was useful for other students as well. So thanks for watching and joining in with me this evening, and see you again next time on YouTube.